this is gonna sound crazy because it was really deep. It was like I saw God for the first time. Like I had felt God's presence multiple times in my life. I could never say that I've actually seen God, but I'm looking at her in her eyes and I'm just like, yo, it's crazy. Like you just came into this body, but your spirit already been here.
We not doing that. Like people ask me, it's certain like reality shows and things like that. Like, hey, would you ever go on that show? Like, my daddy is still here. You're crazy. I would never embarrass my dad by doing certain things. First and foremost, I'm gonna ask you, do you want to be a father?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So in that, what are some of the qualities that you want to see really, really shine through Chanel to where, you know, you like, yo, like as a mother, this is what I need to see.
I want to see that she's someone who's like, hey, yo, it's me and you first before our kids.
I'm Simeon Pando.
Joy Monet.
Dang.
I'm Melvin Gregg.
This is another episode of Nice and Neat.
I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon.
Welcome back to another episode. Yo, what's the deal, y'all? Hope all is well. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon, and this is another episode of Nice and Neat. What's up, fellas?
Man, it's another week. It's another week, man. I'm glad to be back on the mics in front of the cameras with y'all. And I saw something on Instagram a day ago, and it made me think, because I think it's a good conversation. So, like, before we start this episode, I got a hot take for you guys.
Hot take?
Hot take.
Okay.
All right.
How hot?
Hot. It's pretty steamy. It's pretty steamy. All right, because we're talking about goats here. We're talking about goats. All right. So just thinking about basketball, right? If you got 10 seconds to go in the game, all right, you're down by 2.
Oh, I'm down 2.
You're down 2.
See, that's important. That's important.
Okay.
Okay, you're down 2. Okay, you're down 2. I need to know who you guys are putting the ball. Whose hands are you putting the ball in? Is it A, Michael Jordan, B, Kobe Bryant, or C, Steph Curry?
Down 2.
Down 2.
I'm trying to win, though.
You're trying to win. You're going for the 3. You're going for the 3.
But what
Do I want to tie? Depends. Okay, do I want to tie? Do I want to win?
do I want to tie? Do I want to win?
Okay, look.
Period. Just who you
All right,
putting
look.
it?
So, I'm down 2.
Yep.
I don't need Steph Curry because I can still win the game without 3 ball. So I don't need him. So I'm gonna X Curry out, but I still want the option to win the game from the 3 ball. And I think Kobe's a better shooter from long range than MJ is.
Okay.
You may be right there.
So I'm a scratch MJ. Wow. Because they got the same. Wow. They got the same
DNA.
They got the same clutch DNA.
MJ.
They got the same clutch DNA. I think Kobe comes with, I think, a deeper skill set. I'm going with Kobe Bryant.
Who you got?
I'm going with Kobe Bryant.
Even though they have the same DNA, as Duke would say, the same genetic makeup, I feel like in the most clutch moments, I want to put the ball and my trust in Michael Jordan. Steph Curry's not even thinking about Steph Curry. It's more A and B conversation. But for me, that Mamba mentality that we love seeing from Kobe, it comes from Jordan, right? That same killer that exists inside of Kobe it exists because he saw Jordan walk first, you know. So the niggas would say, Jordan walked, so
Kobe can fly.
So Kobe can fly.
Or Kobe can run or whatever.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But so for me, and that's just, you know, I don't think you lose with either one, right? But for me, I'm going with 2-3. It's like I'm always betting on 2-3 over 2-4 any day of the week.
You said you doing what? Say that last part again. Say that. Hold on. Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I'm rolling with 2-3 over 2-4 any day of the week.
Wow. I can't believe my man just said that.
He going with 2-3 over 2-4?
Any day of the week. Like, I could be like, oh, situationally, this is what I would go with and this is what I would roll with. But you said this over my man Kobe Bean Bryant.
No disrespect.
The one who they said, hey, don't look Jordan in the eye. And he said, why? We made it the same thing and looked him square in his face. And Jordan had conversation with him on the basketball court. That same guy? Oh, nah, man. You have a compelling argument as to why you would want to go with him. I could make an argument as why even I wouldn't say I was just scratch Steph, because if we down 2, Steph is a very, very viable option in that. I'm telling you right now, if we needed 3, out of those 3, I'm picking Steph. If we needed 3.
If we needed 3.
Absolutely.
If you need 3.
I'm picking Steph.
Yeah.
Right? But if we saying, you could get a 2 or a 3, I'm going Kobe, man. I'm going Kobe every day of the week.
Yeah.
Because Kobe might mess around, get to the basket, and get fouled, bruh. Kobe, I feel like he's got a better mid-range than Jordan. I feel like he's got a better mid-range. I feel like he has a better mid-range than Jordan.
I don't know about that one.
Check this out. He got better footwork.
He got better footwork, I believe.
I mean, he's got
Better
his footwork
post-game,
from the dream.
Yeah.
So it's like, my man, this is the thing. Jordan's just the blueprint. It's hard to ever look over Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But just how history, there's just things in history just progressively just gets better, as the game gets better. So I would go Kobe. I do got something for y'all though.
Okay, talk to us.
Wait. Does a situation change if I'm down 1?
Yeah, it changed a little bit. Situation for me changed a little bit.
So you're going Jordan down 1.
If I'm down 1 and I just need a bucket, I know how revered Jordan is. I know how referees look at him.
He getting to the cup.
I could go Jordan on that one.
Yeah.
Situation.
What if it's tie game? Same thing as down 1?
If it's tie game, man, it's fair game. All 3 of them. If
That's
it's
so
tie,
interesting, huh? Because
if it's tie game, actually, I could see Steph like, I'm not really pressed. Jordan and Kobe still trying to get them out of there.
Yeah.
They putting the knife to your throat.
Same situation, all 3 of them. Who do you think is taking the 3 ball?
Down 2?
Down 2.
Steph taking the 3. For sure.
I'm trying to end this shit right now.
So I've noticed with Steph at the end of games, when he tries to get into the paint and tries to dribble, it's usually tough for him to get a shot off. Because, the paint collapses, the refs let you play a little bit more. His stature doesn't allow him to get the shot that he would like to get off. So setting the off ball screen, and when Steph be across the court and they just make that pass across the court and he's able to look at the basket, I'm going Steph. Mm-hmm. I'm going Steph. I got something for y'all though.
What's up?
Think about this.
Mm-hmm.
We got 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
20 years. We can't play basketball. We can't play football. The only sport that we can play here in America is soccer. Where do we now rank in the world?
America.
Yes.
I would say we rank pretty high, but this is what you have to think about, is that soccer team rosters only carry 25 players. So it's not like we have like all the athletes.
Uh-huh.
We only have 25.
25 of the best.
We all 25 of the best. So like, even though like you take all these other sports away from us, right, we'll just have a bunch of athletes just sitting that's not even competing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because we have to literally pick the best 25.
That's a good point. So I'm gonna ask you this: currently, right now, do we feel like the best athletes currently play soccer?
No.
Okay.
No.
And we're one of the best teams in the country. When I say one of the best, I mean we're one of the top 25
In the world.
in the world.
Yes.
Currently, right now, with what you guys are calling our B team. So, where will we rank in the world?
We rank pretty high. Just look at the women.
Okay.
Just look at the women.
You're saying if America, there was no football, we couldn't play basketball, but we had to play a sport.
Yes. And soccer was the sport.
And soccer was the
we
sport
had to
that
train we got the opportunity to train for 20 years.
I got you.
To play
okay.
soccer.
Okay, yeah.
Where do we rank?
I got you. We'd be number 1.
I don't know if we will be number one, though.
I think we'd be number 1.
I think we'll be number 1.
I don't know if we will be number 1.
Yeah, I think we'll be number 1.
I think we will be competing, though. Because you got to think about it, too. It's like all these other countries have been playing soccer for decades, centuries. You know what I mean? We played for 20 years. We'll still be relatively new to the sport, right?
Nah, I think we'll be number 1, bro. If soccer was the number 1 sport and we dedicated all our time to soccer, right? How do you feel
about women's sports? I know it's two just separate conversations, but the only reason why I asked is because our women's team is like ranked the highest, and all of our best girls play soccer, right? So like and we're still not the best.
But they're not the best athletes. That's what you're
Well,
saying.
who are the best female athletes? What sport do they play?
I don't know, but
Okay,
I know
okay, I
black
got you.
people are. I know black people are the best athletes. That's what I do know.
Because you know people gonna say it's black people that play for other teams
Yeah,
all
no,
across the world.
I'm talking about black Americans are the best athletes.
Okay.
In terms of like speed, athleticism,
Yeah,
jumping ability, right? Explosiveness,
agility,
right?
Yeah.
And if you train for that, because no matter what, right? Sports is intellect, strategy, and all those things, but the large part of sports is just like, yo, I'm just physically better than you. And if you get the most physically, just the guys that are physically better, you're gonna have a high chance to win it. The guys that are playing soccer right now for our country are not the most physically gifted people
in the country.
No,
in the country.
Yeah.
But I also think that like we would consider LeBron James to be one of the greatest athletes in America, right? I'm not so sure if his
Does it translate?
skill set translates to
got you.
soccer. I'm not sure if he could stop on a dime and change directions. Just because he's the best athlete in the world doesn't mean he's a good soccer player. Like, because of his height, bro, he's so tall. In order for him to drop his center, his gravity, his hips, and change directions and move and pass with his feet, I don't know if he could see that from him. Maybe somebody like Damian Lillard, more shorter in stature, you know what I mean? Like someone like that I could see, but like when you use names like Michael Jordan's or even Kobe Bryant, you know, guys are just so tall. You know what I mean? Like the tallest guys playing right now are Mbappe. He's 5'11".
Cristiano like 6'1", 6'2".
Look, all I'm
He's
saying
not playing
is,
no more, but
all I'm saying is,
Yeah.
bro, if the same type of attention that we give to football and basketball, like we could probably give it to any sport and be the top at that sport.
I think if the money was there in America, we would be leaning towards soccer more. The money's not there in
the
America.
money is there.
But
in
hold on,
America,
hold on,
the
hold on,
money is
hold
not
on.
there.
But the money's not there is because we're not leaning into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The money's not there because we're
Yeah.
not leaning into it.
Yeah.
And because I've had this conversation before, and the reason so many of us don't play is because sometimes things require equipment, right? Sometimes soccer fields aren't in our neighborhoods, right? Even though parks are, like specifically like soccer.
It's crazy though. Like it don't cost much to
that's
practice
true.
soccer.
That's
bro.
the
You just
lowest
need a
entry.
ball.
That's
That's
the lowest
true.
entry of all
You just need a
sports.
That's
ball,
true.
bro.
No, basketball is.
No.
Nah, soccer, bro.
You need a basket.
Yeah, soccer, bro. You can just
need
set
a
up two.
net.
You don't
can
need
set-
a net.
No, bro. You can set up two lines, bro.
just need a
just
trash
to go.
can.
You can put your shoes.
You need a trash. You need a trash can there. The same thing. You need a trash can and some.
Nah, because
paper
you need
ball.
the height. You have to elevate it, bro.
No, bro.
You gotta elevate the trash. You can't shoot the trash. That's not realistic. If I could kick the ball on the floor in between two cones, and it's
That's
realistic.
not realistic because like there's only.
But the width, though, I still got the width. You talking about a trash can that's, first of all, it's bigger in circumference than a hoop.
Nah, bro. Hey, to even get acclimated to basketball, all I need is a paper ball and a trash pad.
No,
you don't.
That guy will never go to the
No,
league.
I'm saying the
That
love
guy,
the
he
love
over
of
there playing
basketball.
paid in full.
I'm saying the love of basketball has to come from somewhere.
No, but what I'm saying is there's people who have never had a pair of shoes or a goal, and they've went to the league when they started training with the right person in soccer. People who are barefoot, never owned a pair of shoes, playing soccer barefoot, just kicking a ball in dirt. Because it's just the lowest entry sport
you.
that you could
That's
possibly
true.
play.
Okay, I got you.
Like basketball, nah, you ain't
I
done
got you.
Kobe.
Okay,
Nah,
so here's the reason though. Early on, it's not sexy enough. It's not sexy enough
for America.
for black kids. Mm-hmm. You probably get clowned play it or you probably don't get the same love. I should say that, and that plays a part in how much we want to play a sport. Part of the reason we want to play basketball is because we saw the basketball players getting the love, and the football players getting the love, and getting the girls in high school. But most people was coming to the basketball games and football games, but not many people were coming to the soccer games.
Did you ever go to a soccer game in high
I
school?
went to a soccer game in high school.
I never went to a soccer game in high school.
Never. I didn't even know when soccer season was.
Yep.
It was right after football season.
So
I knew that. I knew
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that was baseball season. So
so things like that, right? Even baseball, it's the same thing.
okay, all right. Well, I just wanted to know. I wanted to know. That's actually going to help us transition.
Speaking of football, would you let your son play football?
Boom. I'm glad you said that.
Wow.
Because that was what we was transitioning to. So would I let my son play football? it's not high on my priority list. My personal, just thinking about myself. He's never communicated to me what sport he likes. But me, myself, I'm not signing him up for football the way that we signed up for football. I'm not gonna put him in that. There's so many other options now that he could play that he doesn't have to go through any physical carnage in order to be able to play it. I watched you guys. I see what happened to our friends' bodies.
Yep.
You know, it was great that it's been able to afford us some of the luxuries that we've been able to experience in life. Brittany's dad is an ex-NFL athlete as well. So we just seen too many things that feels like it decreases the quality of life or even the life expectancy to where
fact.
we just don't need to play that.
Right.
We don't need to play that. Now, if he is older and he's like, yo, Dad, this is something I really want to do. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh, this kid's good. We're playing football.
Yeah.
You know, but like, that's not what I'm on. I'm not trying to put him in football.
What age would that be? Off, just assuming.
It would honestly, he would have to, it would be around the age where you kind of like really got into it, around that like 8th, 9th grade age, to where I can see, okay, he can do something here. We're not doing it as a kid.
Yeah.
He definitely not playing football as a kid.
I mean, you're talking to two guys here who didn't play football as kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
You didn't play football as a kid?
No.
Oh, you started when in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's crazy because I was playing football as a kid while you guys weren't, and y'all made it to the league. It's crazy.
So interesting how things work. So interesting. Would you let, if you had a son?
If I had a son, would I let him play football? No, I'm similar to Jalon. I would steer him away from football. I would encourage him to play other sports that could help build his athleticism, like basketball, soccer, maybe even hand-eye coordination, like baseball.
Definitely running track.
Definitely running track. You know what I mean? Because it's an easy sport to start. But same thing. Because of how I was raised, like I do want to give my kids, my children, the option to make their own decisions. You know what I mean? But I just like Jalon, I want to make sure that he is, I guess, athletic enough to protect himself in the various situations that he can find himself in on the football field. Yeah. And until I see that, I would be just like Jalon. I'd be way more reserved in terms of letting him or allowing him to play that sport.
And football is a sport that I know very, very well. So I know how into it I would be if we got to that point.
Yeah.
If I don't see that he's got that, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
You letting your kids play football?
I used to say no, but now I would let my kid play football. But I would try to push him to play offense and play receiver or play quarterback. Those are the two positions. And if he's big enough, offensive line, whatever.
Yeah.
But I would be open to it now. I used to be opposed to it just because my experience, and here's why. It's because I think there's something that men get from playing football that is very hard to get other places. You can get teamwork from basketball. You can get teamwork from baseball. I don't think you can get the same toughness. I don't think you can get the same grit. I don't think you can get the same resilience because I think those things it's just much tougher mentally on kids.
But why do you think toughness is so important to you? Because it's like other sports.
Why is toughness?
They are physical with your body. Yeah. You know what I mean? So why did you mention that toughness?
I think toughness is going to be important because there's going to be a time where something else has to come into play in addition to your parenting that helps your child develop those skills or develop that type of mindset and characteristic. You know what I'm saying? And I think those types of learning those things early on is a great way to just build that foundation for the rest of your life. Yeah. It's just certain things you just learn, like just I play basketball and football, and it was just night and day between the two types of training. Between the way we're coached, the way we are disciplined. Like there's a difference between bear cross on the field and suicides.
Way different.
You know what I'm saying?
Way different.
Like, there's a difference, bro. Yeah. I got in trouble one time in school for just being a class clown. Teacher told the coach. Coach said, all right, cool. Come to practice. Everybody circle up, right? Dude, get inside the middle. Get in the middle of this bull ring. And he said, like, hey, hit your feet. So I'm just like tapping my feet. And he points points at the guy behind me, and I got to turn around, find him, hit him. Next guy, next guy, next guy, right? Certain things like that.
Low key like child abuse.
Nah, certain things like that teach lessons. I'll never
learn,
forget
though.
it. It just
You
teaches
never gonna
lessons.
be in that class acting up again.
Never.
I'm just saying though, right? So there's a direct consequence that you learn from football because there's a physical element of it. People say, yo, nah, the mental. Nah, bro. There's a lot of stuff I could withstand mentally, but that physical,
It's crazy. I would actually argue too that most consequences to people don't even feel real unless it's like attached to something physical.
for sure.
Right. I think that's why, like, even me, like, and I'm sure just like you, like,
For sure.
you know, when you think about consequences, you second guess like your actions because of maybe your past situations with consequences and it being physical. I've always thought about that, like especially when I work with other people who may have not played sports, you know, at any level in the real world and working. When it comes to doing an assignment on time, showing up places on time, they don't have the same or sense of urgency that I may have.
Yeah.
And even when there is a consequence presented, it's like it doesn't even bother them as much. And I feel like it's because of that reason.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that separates, I guess, my perspective and someone else's is that before my consequences have been physical. So I know, like, even though my consequence now moving forward may not be physical, I've experienced that, and I don't want to have to go through that type of shit, you know?
Yeah, so I would, man. I think there's a lot of benefit in playing football. I didn't have my dad wasn't hands on with football, but I think if I had a son, I would be hands on with, hey, yo, here's how this can help you stay injury free, right? I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
It's not going to probably happen,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna help you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But let me ask y'all this though: what type of parent do you think you're going to be? Or what type of, I guess, like, ideology do you take on as a parent? Are you the parent that is going to, nope, until my kid is 18, like what I say goes? Or you're going to be someone who's more like, nah, my kid gets to choose what he wants to do, what she wants to do as she gets older?
I want to parent. All right. In my family, as a leader of my family, the father of the household, the husband of the household, I want to parent like an adult. I don't want my kids or my children to ever believe that I'm not their parent and a friend. Right? Now, I want them to believe that they have a companion in me, but as your auntie would say, I'm not one of your little friends.
I'm not one of your little friends.
I'm not one of your little friends. And I feel like, and I've heard someone else say this, so, and forgive me for, I don't know who quoted this, but who this quote is from, but like, Black children, specifically Black boys, but I'm going to just say Black children in general, they don't need any more friends. They need fathers, right? So like, I want to parent like a father. I want to be stern. I want to be disciplined, but I also want to be fun and loving and caring. I also want to be inquisitive and I want to learn. So like, it's not, I don't want to ever be seen as like my son or my daughter's friend, but I do want them to feel like some of their thoughts and the things that we work through as a family are collaborative.
I got you.
In a sense, right?
That's good, yeah.
Like, it's collaborative, but I still have the final say because this is my...
You watching over this.
I'm watching over this. I'm the captain of the ship. You know what I mean? But, I mean, there are things that I believe that were going on in my head as a kid that I would try to articulate to my dad, and he didn't take the time to really listen or hear me out.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe if he did in some of those situations, we could have had progress within our relationship. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if those situations arise for me as a parent, which I know they will, right? Because history repeats itself. I want to be able to give my kids the opportunity to have that collaborative moment. You know what I mean? And be able to say, yeah, you know, my dad actually listens to me and works with me, even though he parents tough. You know what I mean? He's hard on us, but for the right reasons. You know what I mean? And he empowers us and he lifts us up. But again, that's my dad. Yeah. I don't ever want my kids to not feel like that's my dad. No, hey, my dad coming. Nah, I want them to always have that kind of reverence for me.
What about you? Wipe that Grinch smile off your
Hey,
face.
you know, I think my parents didn't really do. They didn't articulate this, but this is kind of how I grew up. I think my parents did an exceptional job. And me and Brittany, we talk about it a lot. But my children are very similar to O. Like, it's gonna feel like a collaborative effort, and we're gonna communicate why we're doing what we're doing. But as long as my children live under my roof, like, their body is my body. Like, it's mine. So what I tell you, what we talk through, what we talk about, how I expect you to conduct yourself, that is the expectation and that is the standard while you in this house. And I say that not because it's a sense of ownership or I just want to feel in control or anything like that, but in the sense of you at your young age, anything that you do outside of this house affects me directly. So if you're 14 and you out and you want to have sex, and I know some parents, they're like, if this is what they want to explore, like when that child gets pregnant, the friend gets pregnant, then, you're responsible for that upbringing of that child. If, something happens, let's say the person is younger and you got to go down a legal route, you're responsible for the things that come with that. If you smoking weed and you're out and you're inebriated, you're responsible for the things that come with that. So as far as my child, as long as you live in my house, your body is mine. Your body is mine and your mother's, and we will talk to you as such. We can collaborate on being able to stretch our minds into like, hey, dad, this is kind of what's happening now. You might have to loosen up in this space. And if we observe and we see that it makes sense, we can be a little bit more lenient, but we have the path. We have the path cut out for who you're going to be, and I don't mean in the sense of, okay, cool, you're going to be an engineer and you're going to graduate from UCLA. Nah. As far as how you conduct yourself and you carry yourself in society, we have the path and we have the blueprint for that. That's why me and your mother are together. We chose each other off of the back of how we was going to raise you. We didn't just, it wasn't a whimsical experience for us. So
what makes you guys so confident that, I guess as parents, as new parents, what makes you guys so confident that you're always going to know what's best for your kids?
It's a good question. I think history is important. When you're choosing somebody, understanding what their history is. Like, we didn't start this. We had great parents, and our parents had great parents. We didn't start this. This didn't start from us. So just looking at the lineage of decision makers and what was accepted and what wasn't accepted and how they maneuvered through those things, that's what tells us we're going to be great parents. I knew my girl was a great parent before she was a parent, So I think it's really important for us to be able to assess each child individually, understand what our rules, and apply our rules to that child accordingly. I think what my parents did was there was an umbrella of rules in the house, and like that was that. It wasn't, okay, you know what, Jalon's a little bit more free-spirited, this one is a little bit, more locked in. It wasn't that. It was everybody should behave the same. Now, we don't believe in that.
Yeah.
We do believe that everybody has their own personality, and we will adjust our rules according to that individual.
Yeah.
But that's absolutely what makes us confident in that space.
I would say your intuition though, because like even though we haven't done this our first time doing it. You know what I mean? There's some things that intuitively just come to you. You just feel you're like, that's right. This is the right thing for me to do. Some things you just like, I don't know. I'm actually just winging it right now. But I would say a lot of the times too, just like Jalon said, there's millions of people who have done this before us, and that really didn't have books and much information, no mentors to look to or people to talk to about it. Just like intuitively, you just kind of know what's right for your children or what's right for your kid because you're providing and protecting this kid, this child. So I think your intuition helps tremendously with like deciding what's right or wrong for your kid.
You said that you want to make sure that you're stern.
Yeah.
Right. As a father of a daughter, why is that important, being stern?
Oof. Okay. Good question, bro. Good question. Stern because I have to I have to teach this woman, this little girl, everything she needs to know about carrying herself in the world, right? I say the word stern because one thing I don't want to do is be the father who puts his hands on his kids to discipline them or teach them things, right? Now, and I actually heard a friend of ours talk about this briefly today too on his Instagram, but I kind of grew up the same way to him, so I'm going to speak on that. Like, I grew up being disciplined like that, right? And
You mean being
when I say grew up like being disciplined like that, I mean like I was spanked, you know what I mean?
got whoopings?
Whoopings.
Yeah, whoopings.
I got whoopings.
Not
got
spanked. That's a little
touched.
nicer.
I
You
got
touched.
whoopings.
You got touched.
I got touched. I got touched. You know what I mean? I'd like early on in the 90s go out and pull the switch off the tree type, you know? Now again, to each his own. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to do that.
I got you.
I don't want to do that. And so the reason why I use the word stern is because I feel like that's the borderline of becoming like disciplining your kid with like words and a body presence rather than physicality, right? And I think in order for a woman, and the reason why I say I want to be stern, especially with my daughters, because I don't want her growing up thinking that it's okay for people to get angry at you and then discipline you physically, right? There should be a way that people talk to you and help you understand how to learn and navigate through the situation or through the mistake that you made without taking it without being overly aggressive.
Yeah.
So I think stern is like huge. Being stern with my daughter is huge, bro, especially in the upbringing and like the cultivating of her mindset within our family.
Question for you. I'm gonna come right back to you. I gotta go for you.
Yep.
Hey, what are some things that your parents did with you that you will not be doing with Edison?
If an adult said something, it was facts. I don't believe that.
That's so real.
I
feel like we all grew up like that.
I just don't believe that. You know. But
But
again,
how do you explain that? But also, like, ingratiate that. Hey, yo, respect your elders.
Yeah.
so when I say if an adult said something, it was facts. It wasn't necessarily the respect that I had or the lack of. It was if a teacher called the house and they said that I was cutting up in class, there was no conversation about what actually happened. It was if they called the house,
You in trouble.
you're in trouble.
That's not necessarily true.
You know, that's not necessarily true, but I also think the deeper space that actually comes from is sometimes parents actually don't have time to really observe who their children truly are. So
Is that not having time, or is that lazy parenting?
I think it could be both, right? We can be experiencing two truths here.
Okay.
So you may have came up in a generation where your parents had to work. A lot of people lived in the IE, so a lot of people's parents commuted. So we're talking about an hour and a half, 2 hours every morning that you might be spending driving there and 2 hours driving back. So if you got to be at work at 8, you're leaving the house at 6 and you're coming home sometime at 6. So you have an entire school day. You're walking to school yourself. You're getting home yourself. So if you come home from work and the teacher called, it almost has to be facts because you weren't present enough to really sit down for years. And this carries over years to sit down and, hey, how was your school day? Oh, okay, what's your teachers' names? What's going on here? I'm at the school. I'm present. I'm understanding what's going on, right? Because a lot of times teachers or authority figures, they know, okay, this kid's parent is not necessarily around. They're not necessarily, I've never even met this kid's parents. Like as an adult, as a father, I think about it now. I can't imagine somebody teaching my child that I've never met. I don't succumb to the public school system. I feel like as our parents and their generation did. I don't believe in that. Me or Brittany don't believe in that. So I feel like in that space and being able to communicate and understand who your child is. Like, for example, some people might have kids like me. If a teacher called and was like, hey, yo, Jalon, he had the class laughing today. Could be a fact, but also say that I finished my work early and you didn't keep me interested enough. Say that too. Because if we just say Jalon was being a class clown today, my dad, one thing about my dad is, did he finish his work? Right? That's the mentality that my dad has.
Yeah.
Did he finish his work? If he finished his work, this is your job, right?
Right.
But
If he finished his work, don't try to paint my son like he's being disruptive.
Yes. right? But the problem with that is my dad would listen and be like, oh, well, if he's being disruptive, he's being disruptive. The teacher didn't even mention the work. The teacher didn't mention anything. I can dive a little bit deeper and understand what's going on without defending my child. Because at the end of the day, if you're disrupting the class, you're still disrupting the class. So we need to talk about that regardless.
Facts.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that. But even in those spaces, allowing, and this is why I said the individuality of your child really matters, because if you know your child is a brilliant kid and he's finishing class early, but then when he finishes, he's talking and he's being a class clown, as your parent, it's your job to help him or her navigate that space of who they are. I wouldn't want to suppress him. So if it's like that, it's like, hey, look, the teacher's going to call me. This is how you're going to have to play this game, bro. Do your work. You could talk after class all that you want. Maybe you need to sit down and you need to double check your work, because now that I know that you're finishing early, if you come home with any B's, this is now on you.
Yep.
These are communication skills that I wasn't given that. It was just, you got in trouble. Okay, you're in trouble. I want to understand why my child's getting in trouble. I want to sit down and talk through everything. And I also feel like when you come home at 6 and you got a phone call home, that's why whoopings exist. Because I was at work all day. I don't have time to sit down and talk to you and navigate and try to understand why you were getting in trouble at school while I'm at work trying to make a living for you. I don't have time for that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to whoop you because I need you to be afraid of this. This is what I need you to be afraid of.
That's the physical consequence.
Yep.
Right? One thing that I've learned when I was, how old was I? 22, 24? I took in my little cousin. And I mean, he got whooped his whole life and he was a bad kid still. So I was like, this is not going to really work for him. Whoopings aren't going to work. So he would get in trouble at school every single day. And I was like, let me just talk to him. Let me find out what's going on. Let me understand him. And I feel like it's so important to actually understand your child, because now when certain phone calls come through, you be like, my kid, he did that. He did that. We're going to have to really talk about that. He did that. And there's some things it's like, you know what? This teacher doesn't understand this. This white teacher doesn't understand what this urban, smart black kid really looks like and how he's presenting himself. This teacher doesn't understand that. So I need to explain to him how this teacher perceives him, and I need to explain to him who he is, and I need to make sure that I can make those connect for him. I feel like, and me and Brittany always say, well, all we're doing here is making little people good big people. So in communicating with a little person, I need to tell them, yo, this is as a big person, this is what this looks like, and this is what this feels like. So when you get there and you cross that bridge, it's not impossible to cross. Like you could see it without having to ever cross it before.
Yep.
So I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's rocket science, but I do think that you got to spend a lot of time with your children.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money you have. I think you have to spend a lot of time with your children and understand them and see how they navigate life and see how they experience it, and all the little nuances and things. Like raising a son, I can't believe I've lied to my parents before. Now that I have a kid, when my son lies to me for the first time, I'm gonna know. I know everything you do.
Yeah.
I know every movement. I know everything.
Thinking we're smarter than our kid.
You can't believe. I can't believe that you lied to your parents though, because if they don't make the pathway of communication seem open enough for me to let you know, express everything that I'm feeling, of course you're gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're saying that, yo, as a parent, you know that your parents actually didn't want to be mad at you. They actually wanted just to be there for you and help you, right? But you thought as a kid, it was just like they just against you.
They hating.
You know what
They
I'm saying?
hate. Hey, Pops
But as a
hating.
parent, you realize how much they care about you. So you could kind of come to them and be like, hey, Pops, I'm going through this. And they will probably listen. They probably listen. But you mentioned something about generation, right? And so let's talk about today's generation. Do you have concerns with your daughter growing up in today's generation and being influenced by the way the women in society are moving?
Yeah, definitely.
What are your concerns?
I'm concerned that little girls are growing up way too fast and idolizing things that they're seeing online, whether it be musicians or models, or I think just the obsession with wanting to be provocative so soon. It's happening at an alarming rate. So I am extremely concerned about that because the current state of I guess our community of women growing up, to me, it just seems really fast. Seems really fast. Women wearing smaller clothes, reciting specific lyrics to music that insinuates, sexual behavior, multiple sexual partners. I think there's going to be a huge emphasis on understanding and really drilling into my daughter's skull who she is. So she knows when she goes out into this world, regardless of what's going on around her.
She don't have to conform to the world.
No.
As for me and my house.
As for me and my house, this is how we run things. Like that is going to be the focal point from 2 on. Right now, we just trying to get her to keep her neck up. Right.
So what if somebody said, "Yo, this shit sound good"? It sound good, but you can't help it. She gonna have social media. She gonna have access to the world. How you gonna monitor that?
It's our teachings. These are our values. This is how we were raised. So it doesn't matter. But someone would tell the 12-year-old Omar, "Oh, you want to play in the league? Yeah, right. Good luck. That's only 1% gonna do that." All right. Well, so to me, like those type of things don't seem impossible to me. I could still raise a great young girl who understands who she is in this world that may not understand who it may be searching for itself. Yeah. So many people around us are searching for identity that they don't know who they are, and they're taking on other people's identities, and they're just really confused. I could still raise someone who understands who she is in the midst of all of that.
Do you feel like you would have the same type of energy if you had a boy?
I don't know. I feel like, and me and Jalon kind of talked about this off camera a few days ago. And maybe Wes behind the camera understands this, but like, I feel like the girl is changing me. Even and I spoke to you about this too. Yeah. Russ, I'll share it right now on camera, but like the moment that I had the skin to skin with my daughter for the first time, it was like, this is going to sound crazy because it was really deep. It was like I saw God for the first time. Like I had felt God's presence multiple times in my life, all the time, And I could never say that I've actually seen God, but I'm looking at her in her eyes, and I'm just like, yo, it's crazy. Like you just came into this body, but your spirit already been here. You've been here. And even take it to backtrack, we're praying before we're going to the hospital. As we're praying, she going crazy in the stomachs, like she feel the spirit of God because she know that's familiar to her, right? So when she comes out, I'm like, damn, this is God, bro. Just like someone who would have a near-death experience and their whole life replays before their eyes, every wrongdoing, every trespass, every mistake I've ever caused to any person, not just a woman, man or woman.
You did tell me about that.
It flashed before my eyes.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh my God, I don't want anybody to even think about me disrespecting them in any kind of way, let alone doing a wrongdoing to them. So I don't know if I would have had that revelation had I had a boy. Had I had a boy. The fact that I had a girl, it was like, yo, you need to be better for her because she's now looking at you. She's now going to mimic everything that you do, whether you think she's watching or not. You have a real responsibility now. And maybe a boy wouldn't maybe feel like my responsibility is so serious. But the fact that I have a little girl watching me, or that's going to be watching me and everything that I do and how I interact with my woman and how I interact with other people in the world and how I lead our family, now that shit changed me.
Is there one principle that you're going to teach her? Like, just what's the one main principle that you think is going to be like, hey, when you walk out of this house, I want you to know this?
I just want her to respect and love herself.
Got you.
If she respect and love herself, she will be in a good situation no matter where she's at. No matter where she's at, bro. So like, I just want her to understand that you have to love and respect yourself in everything that you do. And if you do, you will always present the best version of yourself.
You know, you said, what if somebody says like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want, you know, like, but your kids essentially is going to kind of succumb to society, right? And that's a limited thought that I absolutely hate. And I try not to hate things. I absolutely hate that. And I hate the limiting thought because what you're saying is that the outside forces of this house is stronger than what happens under this roof. And like, it's so many people that succumb to that. Like, it's so many people that live in the space of like, oh, you know, I kind of just like raise my children according to what is happening in society or, what's normal, right? And I remember my dad always told us, remember who you are. Like, as soon as we leave the house, remember who you are. As a kid, remember who you are. As an adult, remember who you are. Man, we watched this show called 90 Day Fiancé. And I thought about that because it's this guy, he's from Egypt, right? And they get married. He's a Muslim, a practicing Muslim. And, you know, he's like, hey, yo, like, my wife doesn't show skin. I don't like that. Don't show your skin.
Yeah.
You know, don't show your skin. And it's like, oh, okay. So she moves to Egypt and, you know, she's wearing the hijab and, you know, covering her body. And then she's like, you know what? I don't like Egypt, right? So then she moves back. She's actually, ironically, from Los Angeles, moves back out here. And he moves out here and she's wearing a dress and it's showing her skin. And he's like, hey, you know, I don't like that. She's like, oh, we're in America now. Like, you don't have to follow those rules. You know, this isn't Egypt anymore. And he's just like, you're my wife.
Yeah, no matter what. Egypt is in me.
Egypt is in me.
Yeah.
My culture is in me. My religion is in me. My beliefs are in me. So when I seen that, and I was just like, man, it's crazy because most people actually operate exactly how she operates. Oh, I'm not over there no more because I'm not over there, I can do this. And me, I understand exactly where he was coming from. I don't care where we're at. As long as you're my wife doesn't show her skin. This is my beliefs. This isn't because I was in Egypt. And in that, like you saying, oh, you gotta remember, you gotta always just remember who you are. If respecting yourself is number one, you don't not respect yourself just because your parents is not around.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's so important to make sure that you instill that in your children. It's like, hey, yo, like, I don't care whether I'm there or not. We not doing that. Like, people ask me, it's certain like reality shows and things like that. Like, hey, would you ever go on that show? Like, my daddy is still here. You're crazy. I would never embarrass my dad by doing certain things.
Yeah.
Because of who he is, because of who he taught me to be.
Yeah.
Because of what he instilled in me. And I just hope that my child has that same exact reverence for me. I mean, it's funny, man. I was just telling O the other day, I said something and I guess my voice was a little bit more stern than it usually is. And like, he just like looked at me. He's 7 months. And he looked at me and Brittany was like, he never looks at me like that. It's a distinct difference in who he's identifying early. This is the disciplinarian. Okay, this is how dad is. Dad's like this. Oh, okay. And they feel it, they understand it. They're kids. They look to you for discipline. They look to you for guidance. They look to you for understanding. I would be crazy to not give my children those things.
Yeah, so Edison's in middle school and one of his teachers is a cross-dresser. All right. Are you pulling him out of the class?
He's middle school.
Maybe earlier. I don't know.
Middle school. I like middle school. Middle school makes it a little more interesting.
Okay.
Middle school makes it more interesting because 12-year-old isn't the baby that people think they are.
Okay. Yep.
12-year-old is not a baby.
Okay.
12-year-old, truth be told, scientifically, a 12-year-old can almost be considered an adult. It's just a lot of mental development they would have to do.
Elementary school.
Okay. Elementary school, probably. I'm not comfortable with that elementary. Middle school, we can really talk through things.
Okay.
What if the teacher, I want to just make it even more interesting.
Because that's for me in my house.
Yeah.
But what if the teacher is really good? I'm talking about really
makes it even more interesting.
Yeah. What if the teacher is really great at developing kids in this particular subject? You know what I mean? And he or she has a particular method that You know what I mean?
Perfect. I like that.
Yeah.
This is good. Is this the first time that we're experiencing this? We've never talked about it before. It's the first time.
Yeah.
I probably would have to switch them out, and maybe if it was a second semester, we can do it. But I don't want the attention to be focused on that. So like, let's say for example, they're still young, and this is something we've talked about, right? We've ran through it. I'm like, hey, this is how some people live their lives. Mrs. Johnson could be dressed like this, and it could be a man, and it means this, right? Because I would have to educate myself on it too.
Facts.
I don't feel like I'm educated enough yet to walk through that with him. Mm-hmm. So I would hate to be trying to build a plane as we're in the air. That's really we would be doing it for me and Brittany to educate ourselves. So then now we can teach him because we're parents.
I would assume that if he's really good,
That
a good one. If they're really good, then that they probably have the ability to have influence,
yeah.
which probably you want to take them out if you don't want him to be influenced like that.
And that's why I said elementary, that's real young. Middle school, because I know who I was in middle school. Mm-hmm. Like there was no what did you use? What terminology did you use to describe they?
Influence?
No.
He said
Cross-dresser?
Cross-dresser?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. There was no influencing of a cross-dresser when I was in 7th grade.
Got you.
Like, just think about who you was in 7th. Think about the clown that you were in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You was cross-dressing. Joke's on you. Because me and my friends are going to...
We're finna light you up. We're finna light you up.
Right. Just being completely realistic.
We finna light your ass up.
Right. 7th grade, it's not leaving no impression on me. That 12 years, it's not doing nothing to me. Elementary, that's young. It's very impressionable. I remember I had a 3rd grade teacher that was the football coach of the local high school, and I was like, man, this guy is the coolest guy ever. If I found out anything about him, it would have really affected me.
Yeah.
Because of how I looked at him. So elementary and middle school is different. Middle school, hey, it's gonna be a long day for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Hold up though, because
I'm
curious because you trying to skate up out of here.
No, I was gonna ask y'all something else.
But before you ask us something, I gotta ask you something because you and Chanel are getting ready to walk into marriage, and I'm sure you guys are beginning to talk about children at your own pace, of course. But what kind of father do you think you will be when it is time for you to have children? And what kind of father is Duke gonna be? How is he gonna lead the household?
Man, I think I'm gonna be really big on education. I envision myself to be someone who's really just passionate about being a teacher, right? And just like passing down solid lessons to my daughter or son. I really want to be involved. I don't want to be someone who's really passive about parenting and just leave. If I have a daughter, just take on the notion of, okay, it's my daughter, so Chanel's going to take the bulk of the responsibility for raising our daughter. I don't want to have that, I want to pass, because I feel like I've learned from so many different cultures in terms of not like ethnic culture, but just different cultures in terms of like football culture, sports culture, right, college culture, Nigerian culture, right, entertainment culture, whatever, right, Greek culture. I've learned from so many different cultures that have taught me lessons, and I've grabbed a lot of things from different places that I just want to pass on. So I'm definitely going to be someone who's like adamant on education, but then also someone who's just like explaining why things are what they are, and just teaching people how to be confident in just themselves, right? And just like with that first wave of imposter syndrome and just lack of confidence, I just want to like demolish that early on, right? I just want to raise a super confident person, confident, good person, So however I can get that, I'm gonna get that. That's the type of person I'm gonna be.
I could definitely see your kids being super confident.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, super smart.
I do got a question for you guys. I know we've been talking about us, and you're already in it. Duke, first and foremost, I'm gonna ask you: do you want to be a father?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So in that, what are some of the qualities that you want to see really, really shine through Chanel to where, you like, yo, like as a mother, this is what I need to see. Because I know those were some of the conversations that me and Brittany had, and I thought they were really important and very influential into the parents that we ended up becoming.
Yeah.
Was because there was an expectation and a foundation set in what we expected from one another. But what are some of those things that you want to see from her as a mother?
I want her to be someone who's rooted in principle. I want her to have like I don't want her to be fluid, in the sense of, like I love, like I'm okay raising a kid. Like I want my daughter and my son to just be whoever they want to be. I want her to be someone that's like, nah, these are our principles. These are the principles that you and I have talked about. And this is how we're going to raise our kids. And that's how it's going to be. Right. So it's you and I, our principles, our kids, no matter what's going on. You know what I mean? That's kind of one of the things I want to see from her. I also want to see that she's someone who's like, hey, yo, it's me and you first before our kids. And not, hey, listen, we got a kid now and it's my baby, but it's not us anymore. Right. So I want us to have that, both of us really have that mentality where it's just like, hey, no matter what, we both agree that the better we are, the better our family is. And if we can grow on that, then we can move from there. I think she's gonna be super nurturing, right? Chanel's like she loves kids and just loves just that type of energy. So I don't really have any concerns at all. But yeah, I think those two things are the things I want to see. I also want to see her just be okay with just like relaxing. You know what I'm saying? I think she works a lot. She just works out a lot. You know what I mean? So it's like she's a busybody. So I just want to see her relax and be like, yo, like I can be a mom. I could be a mom and I could just like embody motherhood and yeah. So, okay, question. Before we wrap, what's one piece of advice that you guys have for me for when I become a father?
Oof. Jesus, I've only been a father for 14 days.
One piece.
So, I mean, obviously, we can only talk to the early stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
We can only talk to the early stuff.
Early fatherhood, yes.
One thing I'll say, bro, you're very, very routine and regimented. Bro, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Just scrap it.
Scrap it. Throw it out the window.
Scrap it.
Okay.
Literally try to stay to it to the best of your ability,
Right.
but don't argue with your partner because you want to be on your routine. Don't bump your head against the wall because you want to be on your routine. Just understand that now this is what new routine is going to feel like. So like, an example, I'm a morning gym guy. Jalon, the solo guy, is a morning gym guy. Family Jalon is an 8:30 p.m. gym guy. That's when it's available. Okay. That's when I can go.
I got you.
I spend the evenings and I spend the mornings with my son. So if I want to spend the time that I really want to spend with him, that is when I go to the gym.
Okay.
I go to the gym at 8:30 now. Yep. Who would have thought that I went to the gym at 8:30?
Yeah.
But now it works for my family.
Yeah.
That would be just scrap the harshness of the routine.
Yeah, I want to add to that though.
Okay.
I would even say to even make it more successful, right? Because just talking about, because that's part of your routine and that's one of your outlets. That's one of all of our outlets, right? So I think this is important for us.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of thinking about, oh man, I got today, I want to hit cardio today. I want to hit my abs. I want to run. I want to strength train today, right? I will look at it over the course of the week.
I got you.
Hey, this week I'm trying to get 4 workouts in. Okay? And for the workouts, I'm trying to do all of those things. And don't look at it as like, oh, Monday I'm hitting this. Because Monday may come And you may have it planned on your schedule to go to the gym, but your son or your daughter is acting up.
Yep.
And you got to help Chanel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that pushes you back, and that pushes you out the window. So so don't let that discourage you. It's like, okay, well, I'm just going to push it to the day that I have the time.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say about the early on process of fatherhood is give yourself grace in knowing that you don't understand or fully know how to be a father yet. So there's certain things that just little that comes on, like your son or daughter could be crying and you're doing everything. You done changed them, you done burped them, you got them, they're nice and warm, and you still can't figure out why they're not crying. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's like, yo, there are millions of parents who didn't know either.
Yeah.
And they just figure it out as they go.
They can figure it out.
Yeah, and
you
bro,
know,
it's
you can.
and I mean, I think it's really important for moms and dads to know.
Yep.
It's a club now.
Yep.
Yep.
And in that club, you got complete access to all the answers that other people got answers to.
Yep.
You don't got to accept every answer.
Straight up.
Yep.
You don't, but you get to talk through everything. You get to talk through things. Omar just told me something the other day that I had no idea. He was like, my daughter recognizes when she's cold. Didn't even know that was a thing. But now it's like, oh, let me pay attention to this. Like, this is the thing. Actually, it's funny that you say that because last night, Edison was fussy. And I'm like, you know what? It's about 4 or 5 degrees warmer in here than it usually is. I turned the AC on and he was chilling.
Yep. He was hot.
I didn't even know weather was going to be an effect. Like the atmosphere was going to be an effect on him. And I feel like it was. But because we just had the open dialogue, open conversation, like there's no embarrassment in being a parent,
And
a
not
new
knowing.
parent, and not knowing. Like there's no embarrassment. Somebody told me you cannot be defensive over your child. You can protective, but not defensive.
I like that.
Not defensive. Hey, maybe you should check. Maybe it might have been a little warm for him. You can't be defensive. You can be protective. But, you know, the only person who loses when you're defensive over your children is the children. So it's just, bro, it's just a club. You get to talk. You get to exchange information. And, man, just be open to it. Be open to doing your own research. And, you know, you and your partner, you guys y'all going to figure it out.
Facts. Yes,
Billions of couples have.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
Facts.
Yeah, it's a fatherhood.
Yeah.
It's fatherhood. But
I do got something though.
Yeah.
I just want to just send a special shout out to our viewers, because as we were approaching the 100th episode, we were trying to get to 50K. You know, we're now surpassing 73,000. So I just want to say shout out to y'all for constantly supporting. You know, the road to 100 is approaching quickly, and we appreciate every subscriber, every view, every comment, every interaction. And keep sharing. Keep sharing the pod, man, because it's helping us grow and it's helping the message get out. I keep seeing so many times, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, people are leaving beautiful comments about how, you know, these guys should keep their mics on, or we want more men looking up to these guys, or this is giving me the game that I never had. These type of comments fuel us, man, and they keep us inspired to come back and get in front of this camera and talk, you know, the good stuff that we talking. So, you know, thank you guys for sharing it, helping us grow. It means everything to us, and I just wanted to give y'all flowers.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to comment. All right, let us know what you thought about the episode. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms and streaming platforms. Again, much love, much gratitude. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon, and this is another episode of Nice and Neat, and that's that on that. Peace.
I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting old and I don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the 100.